Oh, what's up? Testing, testing, waiting to go live. And we're live. What's up, guys? Frugal BC here. We are got a lot of good stuff to talk to you about today. So welcome to the show. Yeah, a lot of very interesting week. Lots to talk about this week. Really interesting stuff. We have Bitcoin jump into the 70s. It's just a little below 70 right now. Pretty close right now. Actually, kind of making some really interesting moves. Algorand's still kind of lagging, along with a lot of other coins like HBAR. Some really interesting moves in HBAR. So, we just got a ton of cool stuff to talk about today. No guest as far as I know, unless someone calls in, but I don't think they will. So just lots of cool stuff in the crypto ecosystem. We had some cool stuff we covered on Algorand this week, so there's a lot of good stuff there. So we'll talk about that. I had some issues with my mic. My Shure mic died on Tuesday. I went to record a video and plugged it in like I usually do. I usually unplug the USB port. I've learned since that apparently that's a vulnerability on the Shure MV7. So if you ever find yourself with one of those Shure mics and it's a USB, be really careful with it because apparently that's a vulnerability. So yeah, I plugged it in, didn't light up like it was supposed to. Totally threw me off so much that I didn't even make my video on Thursday or on Tuesday. I ended up making that video on Monday. I'm on my Blue Yeti mic right now, so let me know how it is in the chat. I really want to know, does it sound like okay, or does it sound a little bit worse or a lot worse? Because I've done a bunch of video comparisons between videos that I recorded with my Shure mic and the ones with my Blue Yeti. Some of them I can really, really tell a difference. Others I can't. And the irony is the Monday's video, someone's like, yeah, you finally got the audio right. I was like, I don't know. Apparently it's getting like really close to my face. Everyday Algonaut says GM, and he says the mic is fine. So I appreciate that. Everyday Algonaut, I guess, the Blue Yeti sounds good. I've been debating whether I should go get another mic or another Shure, or try to get this one. I might try to get this one repaired. I filled out a repair order, but the instructions were not very clear. Like, I assume that they would pay for the shipping, but it kind of seems like they're not. So I'm gonna have to give a call down there. But yeah, enough of that. Why don't we just get to why don't we look at some charts, and then we'll react to some news. There's a lot of crypto news to react to. Some coins that I don't normally cover. We'll talk about that. Yeah, by the way, welcome everyone on YouTube. If you're on YouTube, hit the like and subscribe button on YouTube. Otherwise, you can hit, if you're on X, share the space or the video, share the space on X. If you're on X, we're streaming there. Also on Kick. If you guys have a Kick account, even if you're going to watch it on YouTube, just go give me a follow over there, because I really want to get my followers up. I finally got my first follower on Kick. Which is super exciting. But yeah, if you want to go, if you want to watch on Kick too, I'd love that. So just trying to expand out beyond YouTube. I never want to be married to one platform. It's BC_Kowalski on Twitter if you want to follow me there. And Kick is it's kick.com/frugalbc, so you can find me there. And hey, we got somebody from X. We got Boambas. Says Boambas is here. Welcome, Boambas. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it today. We do have channel memberships if you want to get videos before anyone else, and that applies to our recorded videos. Obviously, I can't. It doesn't work with streaming, but if for only $1 a month, and we've got a bunch of people signed up. I appreciate that. You can sign up in the main channel page on YouTube and join our membership and get videos for $1. $1 a month, and that's like not even less than the price of a coffee. I probably should have made it more, but hey, Christopher Lazaro, welcome. Says let's go. Thanks for watching. I appreciate that. In fact, just kind of curious how many people I have watching on X. I'm going to take a really quick look. Yeah, video on X. I think X is really putting a lot of emphasis on video, which I think is cool. Yeah, we got some people watching over there too. That's awesome. Good to see. Yeah, I think they're really putting a lot of emphasis on video. I think they really need a video tab. I don't think it works. I think it works good for live because it pops up in the top of the screen, and I think it's good for like the short stuff because that kind of feels natural when you're scrolling. But when you come across like a video that's like an hour and a half, like more like a podcast type video, that's more like I'm going to sit down and watch that later. I'm not going to do that while I'm scrolling. So that's the thing I think they really need to work on, in my opinion. Yeah, if you're new here, Everyday Algorand said the voice sounds fine. This is my old Blue Yeti, and honestly, sometimes I can tell a difference. Like I said, I did side-by-side comparisons, and I can tell some difference and some not. Jeffrey Patton, welcome to the show, says, point for consideration, should the executive team be held responsible for the continued slippage in rank? Algorand is now 7th. Yeah, and we're going to look at that too. We're going to look at that today. Algorand's been ranging from like maybe as high as 66 up to into the low 70s, and that's it's pretty disturbing. How much should you hold them responsible? I'm not sure, because right now the market is not set up to care about utility. It cares about memes and narratives, and I think they've been kind of turning. I think they've been kind of turning around that side of it. I know they had an attitude in the early days of, let's just build something really, really cool, and people will come and show up. We'll just build for utility, and eventually, things will just kind of work out, and the market will kind of work itself out. And that's what Sean Ford told me when he was Algorand Inc.'s CEO. He no longer is. He's doing something else. In fact, we just became friends on X, so I might try to invite him on. I think he'd be really interesting. So, oh yeah, but good question. And yeah, at some point, the problem is like they will be held liable, because at some point, if things don't improve, things will just fall apart and they won't have jobs, really. Christopher Lazaro says, are you buying the dip? Yeah, probably. Haven't yet. I kind of wanted to get into like another chain and try some DeFi experiments on there. But if I do buy more, it'll be buying to put it into DeFi. I've been talking about my Tiny Man, and maybe we'll explore that a little bit today if we have time. But yeah, in the meantime, let's look at some charts. And like I said, thanks for everyone for joining. Here's the crypto charts for this week. Now we're actually at neutral right now, but just a little bit earlier we were in like just touching that greed territory. So I think that's pretty interesting. Interestingly enough, volume is actually up while the market cap is dropping, so it's probably like a little bit of a lag there. Yeah, and actually we're back over 70 now. Just prior to the broadcast, or even in the early part of the broadcast, we were at 69 something, just a little short of 70. Now we're a little bit over. Everyone's excited about Ethereum finally running up, and it's back to 2,500. Solana down to 167. We were up in the 180s at one point. And yeah, XRP holding its status as a stable coin at 53 cents. I had a joke the other day. It's like, I swear every time I look at XRP, it's like really, really close to 53 cents. It might be like 54 or 52. Right now it's just a little under 52, but it's always right around, it always seems to be right around 53 cents. Now, of course, when I bought some XRP, it was like 60 cents. So Doge had a huge jump up. Now it's pulled back a little bit, but that's something. Shiba Inu has been kind of sideways. Cardano, not really seeing a lot of pump out of that. I just think the days where we see huge pumps out of news items is pretty much over. Except for the exception was the Hedera BlackRock thing, which became a huge disaster. Yeah, otherwise, there's nothing too exciting. SWI going the right direction. SWI, I've noticed, has been kind of a counter indicator, or a counter mover maybe. Seems like when the rest of the market is pulling back, it's pumping up, and kind of vice versa, like might have a pullback. So that's something to keep an eye on. Yeah, NEAR down to almost $4. NEAR has been above $4 for a while, so that's quite a pullback. I'm still very bullish on NEAR. I'm in moonbag territory on my NEAR. It's the only coin that I'm in moonbag territory where it's all extra. I bought in at $1 something. I think my average buy is now in the 2 something range because I bought on a dip, which always is funny because it makes it look like it's worse, but it's actually better, of course, if you buy a dip, if it later goes up, even though it raises your average buy-in. And yeah, just kind of looking here. Dog with hat moves a lot, I've noticed. Big mover. It'll pump up a lot. It'll fall back a lot. Probably a good coin for trading if you're into that. Immutable X has had a pretty big fallback this week. We're going to talk about Immutable X because they got the attention of the SEC this week. And Hedera falling below 5 cents. I know a lot of people are pretty bummed about that. I'm probably actually underwater on Hedera right now for the first time in a while. Yeah, Cosmos fell a lot too. Seeing if anything else is really interesting or not. Helium Mobile is so I finally paid a bill on Helium Mobile because I've noticed the mobile credits all of a sudden, like they just turned off that ability to pay with mobile credits. They said that it was a temporary glitch and it hasn't changed in like a month. That's something I actually got to do another review on. And it's fine. You know what? It's like $20 for really good mobile service, like $20 a month. I mean, it's like 21.05 or whatever with tax. That's hard to beat. Like it's hard to beat even paying full price for it. It's like $20 a month for unlimited talk text. And supposedly like it throttles data after 30 gigs, but I've never even come close to that. So not an issue for me. And yeah, there's Algorand at 69. We're about 11.5 cents. We had pumped up to over 12, and we'll talk more about that in a bit. But yeah, I talked recently about the change, like not the change. I talked about like the charts from 2021 and the post bull halving of 2020. It wasn't until February. And this was true of a lot of alts. It wasn't until February where they even started their real pumps. So, if you're worrying about it right now, honestly, I wouldn't worry about it too much right now. If we get into March, April, and nothing's happening, I'd start to get really concerned. But right now, like it should be middling right now. Cat in the dog world. So this is what I'm talking about when I say some of these coins will just come out of nowhere, and you'll hear people talk like they'll do like the market cap math and say, oh, well, if it had this price, it would be this market cap, it would put it here. And that seems unreasonable. So, it probably won't happen, or that will happen because it can. Well, anything in crypto can happen. Like, right. Like this probably was like, I mean, who knows what it was in market cap? I haven't even heard of it. And all of a sudden it's in the top 100. So like, stop playing market cap math games. It's just silly. It doesn't mean anything. These cryptos go crazy, man. Aerodome Finance is another one, or Gate Token. Both of these I'd never heard of before. I don't think I've seen these two at all. And here they are in the top 10. There's Starknet. We're going to talk about HBAR and Starknet in a little bit. So Gala under 2 cents. That's not good for Gala. We had a good video. I had a good video with Lake and Warlord and Dubstep Rob, who both cover the Gala ecosystem. One's a little more bullish than the other, but I think they both acknowledged the issues, and I think we had a pretty good discussion. So you can go check that out in our live tab. Let's see what we got. Who's saying stuff? Everyday Algo says, I thought that Stacy with her finance background would bring some big finance players, and it should show up on the market cap. Well, that's a good point. I still got to get her on the show. I've been a little frustrated. I'll be honest. I've been a little frustrated lately. I've been trying to reach out to a lot of people in the Algorand space, and like, it's amazing how many of them won't get back to me, or they just kind of kick the can down the road. They don't really commit to anything. And here I am offering like some exposure, and they don't seem to care. So I don't know. So I'm really these lives may or may not have interviews in the future. I'd like them to, but setting them up has been a real pain because people just don't like do what they say they're going to do, or they don't. Well, that's it. Like, people just don't do what they say they're going to do, and that's really frustrating. Yeah, so we were actually down with Algorand. We were actually down into the low 11-cent territory, and now we seem to be moving back up. Just out of curiosity, kind of curious what the RSI is looking like. Yeah, starting to move back up. So, it could push, could be looking for another push up here pretty soon. Let me actually find the Bollinger Band too. Yeah, what you notice, and I've said this before, I've talked about this, like one of the few technical analysis indicators that actually seem to actually do something real is this Bollinger Band RSI combination. I learned this from a trader, and it seemed to be true. Once you're around this, under 40, and you're at the bottom of the Bollinger Band, you tend to see kind of a pump up at some point. So what I really want to do is do a series of experiments where I test this out. The one thing to keep in mind with trading is you're always playing percentages, so you can't just assume like just because something worked once it'll work every time. But generally speaking, what you want as a trader is you want something that works more than 50% of the time. The more the better, of course. So this would generally indicate that we'll start seeing a move upward, but how much? Who knows? Who knows? Interesting stuff, though. I'm just kind of curious what else is going on in the algo ecosystem. Ooh, not looking good for Tiny. No wonder my rewards are so crappy lately. Yeah, under 3 cents now. And it had been sitting around that 3 to 5 cents range. So I'm a little bummed about that because I've been using that for my DeFi, which kind of goes to what I was saying. I should stop violating my principle and just stick with at least one stablecoin, and probably stick stablecoin algo or stablecoin pair. You're probably better off. Yeah, otherwise, on the day, Chips is up a little on the day and the week, as is PokerGo. A lot of stuff is actually up on the week. DFly is, Daffy is, Vestige is, Opulus down, KubeCoin up on the week and the day. Votecoin is up, and then Gora down. We're going to talk about Gora. Well, actually, no, we're not. I talked about Gora on Thursday. So they went multi-chain. Starknet was one of them, along with Base. But there's been a lot of negativity towards Gora, and it's probably because the chart looks like this. No matter where you bought, you're basically down. The funny thing is, I said you're probably unhappy if you bought in April. But actually, you're probably unhappy no matter where you bought. I mean, you're down in price. It was up as high as, where is this? Well, we have these little temporary spikes over $1, but I'm sorry, not $1. Yeah, over $1, but mostly it's been sitting around 60 cents, and right now it's around 4 cents. So that's quite a crash. I've been calling this like the double bootleg. The ASA typical pattern is kind of a bootleg. Like it's a big up, big down. And that's like the leg of the boot, and then a slow trail off. And we kind of got two of them here. This is a nice little boot here. So maybe it's a boot with a big bruise or something. Yeah. So yeah, if you bought into Agora, you're probably not super happy right now. It is nice that they went multi-chain, which is really cool. And that is the scene there. By the way, guys, if you have not hit that like and subscribe button, I appreciate that a lot. It really helps grow the channel. Like I say, you don't have to smash it. You can just press it gently. It works just fine that way too. And I do want to give a big shout out, by the way, to our sponsor, Non-Fungible Domains. So if you want a .algo address for your Algorand address instead of all those complicated letters and numbers, I think that's just way, way better. Mine's frugalbc.algo, and it's great. It just makes using things in Algorand so much easier. So I highly recommend it. Check out Non-Fungible Domains. You can see the link in the description. Also got like other links for stuff too, so check that out. Yeah, that's all the fun stuff. Oh, we do have a chat. Travel Tim says, do you think a 65 billion market cap is likely for algo this bull run? Where do you realistically see the market cap? So, yeah, funny thing, I was just talking about market caps. I'm targeting $2 to $3. So that's going to put it in probably a 10 to 15 range, thereabouts. I'm not good at doing the math because it's not like the whole 10 billion. If the whole 10 billion is out, the math would be really easy. So that would be 20 to 30. So we're probably looking more like 15 to 20 in a market cap. But also, like, I don't think that's super important to think about, because what's important is that you have a plan for when it goes up and a plan for before it comes back down. So if you're just holding Algorand and you don't have it invested in anything, You should be ready to take profits most likely sometime between March and September. But you got to watch. And what you should do is have a ratcheting up. So you can set price targets and sell at those price targets. Now, for me, it's a little bit different because most of my Algorand is in DeFi. I have a lot of it in LPs and Tinyman. I have a Lofty, which I'm actually trying to get out of. So what you want to have is you want to have a plan for going when it goes up a certain amount, and you got to set what those are. So you do kind of want to have a general range that you think it's going to go in, and then always leave a little dry powder in case it goes up more. You're never going to get the tops, by the way. You're never going to guess the tops. It's not going to happen. That's why you want a ladder approach to take profits, and that goes beyond Algorand. That's all the coins. So, like Bitcoin, Near Protocol, Solana, I've already taken profit on them. My Near is already a moonbag, and all that means, I know people laugh when I use that term, but all that means is that I've basically taken my initial investment off the table, and everything left is to the good. So no matter what happens, I can't lose. That's called de-risking. You're de-risking. You're practicing good risk management. When you have pumps, you should be taking a little bit off the table. As you want to start bringing that risk down. So if I put in $1,000 and I take $1,000 worth of profit, whatever's left, that's all profit. That's all potential profit. The worst that can happen now is it all goes to zero and I make nothing. That's probably not going to happen. If you're doing this smartly, you'll make something, basically, is what I'm saying. Ice Age Trails on the stream. What's up? What is up, Ice Age Trails? Welcome to the show. Thanks. So Ice Age and I actually met up with him in person. He's from my neck of the woods. And hope to see you again, buddy. All right, let's get to this first item because I think this is interesting. This is from Immutable. Now, as you know, the election is nearing. There's a lot of talk about whether Gary Gensler will have a job. Either way, there's some talk from Mark Cuban on the All In podcast said that everyone in the Harris camp told them that they don't like Gary Gensler or that no one likes him there. So it sounds like he's probably out either way, but for sure he'll be out. I think Trump has just flat out said he'll fire Gary Gensler on day one. So I don't want to make this political. I'm just saying the realities of what is likely to happen with either one winning. And you can vote for whoever you want to. That's up to you. I'm not telling anybody who to vote for or whatever. I'm just saying what I've observed so far. So the SEC has been going bananas lately, and they went after Immutable. Now, I don't know if you guys know who Immutable is, but Immutable is their game company built on the blockchain. They had a game called Gods Unchained that was very much like Magic the Gathering and Hearthstone, very, very similar to those two games. I actually like Magic the Gathering a lot. I haven't played much lately, but it's a good game. It was a fun game. I thought they did it really well, and I think some of the team was from Magic the Gathering Arena, so they knew what they were doing. But the problem is, it was built on ETH, and a lot of the features were just flat out turned off because ETH gas fees were too high, which is why I like Algorand. But Immutable, so Immutable has received a Wells notice from the SEC, the latest in their de facto policy of regulation by enforcement. And that's a key phrase. That's not hyperbole, by the way. This has essentially been the SEC's approach. They will send you a Wells notice, and then when you ask for clarification, they won't clarify it. They refuse to clarify it. It's just they're weaponizing it. This is not a transparent way to go about this. This isn't a good faith way to go about this. That's the word I was looking for. We received this within hours of our first ever conversation on a timeline clearly accelerated to land before the election, which is interesting because I think it seems like the Harris campaign has been trying to signal that they're pro-crypto or at least less anti-crypto than the perception is. So I think I think that's very interesting, that timing, because it seems to run counter to what the Harris campaign is trying to put out. Right? They're trying to, I think they saw the support that the Trump campaign had from crypto people, and they're trying to capitalize on that. I've noticed some of their statements have been, didn't she go to one of the Ethereum conferences or something? Anyway, Sadly, stories like this are becoming less surprising each time. We've seen an increased number of companies like Coinbase, Consensus, Uniswap, OpenSea, Crypto.com face SEC escalations. Yeah, the Coinbase one was especially troubling to me because Coinbase seems like they're trying to do the right thing. They located their business in the US. They're a publicly traded company, so they have to do filings and all that stuff. And they'll ask for clarification, and the SEC has been hounding them. Meanwhile, FTX was allowed to, since they were donating to a bunch of well, they were donating to everybody, but very publicly to Democrats. Then as Gensler was happy to look the other way. So this stuff's all political, by the way. Just never pretend that these people are doing this like out of a sense of principles. It's all political. Anyway, with this latest move against Immutable, the SEC's overreach continues and expands into gaming. Immutable is well capitalized with a large war chest to build for the future of gaming, and if needed, we will stand up and fight to defend digital ownership for gamers. But the SEC's approach hinders every startup trying to innovate in an already difficult industry. You know, the result of this is that everything goes overseas, and we're sending an industry to other shores when this is not what we want to be doing. You know, I'm okay with like some regulation. Let's have a debate about what the regulation actually is, because I mean, I think you're going to have some sort of rules and regulations. But let's stop with this vagueness. We're just going to leave it's like saying, oh, you're going to violate the rules. Well, we're not going to tell you what the rules are, but we'll tell you when you violate them. It's just a horrible way to handle it, you know? So last year, Ripple won a landmark victory where Judge Torres found that XRP was not a security. After publicly stating Ethereum was a commodity, the SEC secretly opened an investigation into ETH. They shut this investigation down after Consensus sued them to defend Ethereum's ecosystem in June of this year. Last year, Grayscale sued the SEC to open the floodgates for institutional adoption of crypto. They won, and with the court finding the SEC's denial of Grayscale's proposal arbitrary and capricious. With the court finding the SEC's denial of Grayscale's proposal arbitrary and capricious. Arbitrary is a really important word there. This is the whole point. Like, the regulations are arbitrary. You're not giving us actual regulations or guidelines or whatever you want to call them. In recent weeks, we've seen the SEC's overreach continue to expand, with the livelihoods and freedoms of musicians, artists, and other content creators now under threat in light of the SEC's move against NFT platform OpenSea. And listen, if these guys are actually doing something wrong, then cool, go after them. But let's not pretend like the SEC has been very effective. You know, they were asleep at the wheel during the financial crisis. They were asleep at the wheel with Bernie Madoff. They had their noses shoved right into all that mess, and they couldn't do anything about it. They were asleep at the wheel with FTX. But companies are actually trying to do the right thing. That's who they'll go after. It's just absolute nonsense. This industry desperately wants clear guidelines. This is what I'm saying, for compliance. And instead, companies are forced to spend millions of dollars in legal fees to even get off the ground. At the end of the day, this hinders the many companies in crypto trying to build real products. It's just so frustrating. Immutable has been building since 2018 to bring digital ownership to the $110+ billion of in-game items sold each year. We're not here to play short-term games. It's business as usual for our team, products, and services. Let me ask you, what do you think is better? Do you think it's better that these companies operate in the US under guidelines that are clear, where it's like, hey, we can keep an eye on you, we can set these particular policies, and you have to follow them? Do you think that's better for everybody involved, or do you think it's better for them to go overseas and maybe operate out of some third world country where there's no rules at all? Which do you think is better? Which do you think is better for people? So anyway, we've built $110 billion plus of in-game items sold. $110 billion of in-game items. Now listen, I've had my qualms with Web3. That's something that Lycan Warlord and Dubstep Rob and I talked about a lot on that podcast. It's just the challenge of Web3 gaming. But as long as it's done with a sense of ethics, I don't really have a problem with it, right? I mean, it's if people want to buy, they want to sell an item and people buy it, and they're clear about what this is, what you're buying, what you're going to get. I don't have a problem. I think Web3 gaming is fine. It's not everybody's cup of tea. I go back and forth on it. I thought Fractal Monsters has probably done it the right way. I think they've done it. I think they've been good in how they've handled that. It's pretty reasonable. But anyway, Wendio says, just seeing this, I'm so sorry. We'll be covering this tomorrow. I've had some good back and forth with Wendio lately. Let's see what people have to say. Travel Tim says, I have my sell levels already mapped out way before 65 billion market cap. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Like I said, you just kind of want a ladder approach up. So that's the immutable news that we have today. It's just one more. There's actually a bunch of these, and it's really annoying. So yeah, by the way, if you guys have any videos you want me to react to on stream, I can probably take time to react to them. It'd be good to give my voice a break. By the way, I've been bookmarking, here, I'll show this actually. I've been bookmarking these videos that the Algorand developers account, AlgoDevs have been putting out. Basically, it's like they got this whole little series about how to do Algorand Python. And they start from the beginning, like setting up your development environment and all that. So I've been hanging on to those. And we should get to the Algorand Foundation transparency report. Actually, we'll get to that. Hold on. By the way, if you're watching this on X, feel free to share the video. I appreciate that a lot. So let's see how many people we got going on here. Okay, we got a good audience today on YouTube, X, and Kick. And feel free to retweet on X if you're watching. Definitely hit the like button on YouTube. That'll help show it to more people. So if you haven't done that already, I appreciate that. And what else? And then Kick, if you haven't, I'd love it if people go follow me on Kick and go like the video there. And I don't know if you can like videos on there. I think you can. I know so little about Kick. I'm just curious. I'm going to look really, really quick. I just want to see if. Well, the other thing that's weird about it is, like, I don't know if it says one viewer. So someone's watching on Kick. Appreciate it. Feel free to leave me a chat on Kick too. I want to see if it pops up on here. I think it will. Anyway, let's get to this foundation report. Now, first off, I just want to say that this is awesome that the Algorand Foundation puts out these transparency reports. I haven't come across any other chain that does this yet. So I think before we even dive into this, I just want to say this is awesome that Algorand does this, because I don't see a lot of other chains doing this. I think this is a really great thing. So let's look. So this is Q3, which makes sense. We just finished the first month of Q4. Top line, stablecoins. Stablecoins saw substantial growth, with the USDCA being a standout performer. It exceeded 110 million milestone and increased by 65% in Q2. Now we've seen it, I think it's like at 130 right now, by the way. So yeah, USDC growth has been huge. Monthly active users jumped up by 26%, and I think a lot of that had to do with the Coinbase Quest program, which our sponsor, Non-Fungible Domains, was involved in, as well as some other projects on Algorand. Basically, and you couldn't get it in the US, unfortunately, but of course, But every other country that it was involved in, basically they'd start you with creating a wallet and then moving into DeFi and getting your own domain and all that good stuff. So, and what did we say? It's like 140,000 people that they brought into the Algorand ecosystem through that. So I think those are people that are going to go now buy. Like the way I explained it, here's how I explained it. It's like if you have a store, your first goal is to get a bunch of people to come into the store. Now, does that mean they necessarily bought something? No, but if you normally get 100 customers and you add 100 more customers into your store, like the odds that your sales are going to go up are pretty good, almost guaranteed. Like at least a few of those people are going to buy something. So the whole point is you got 140,000 people. It doesn't mean you have 140,000 buyers, but you have more potential buyers than you did before, right? So I have a newsletter, and I have a frugalbc.substack. You can go check that out. So I have that, but I also have a news newsletter, a local news newsletter, and when I get new free subscribers, those are potential paid subscribers down the road, and some of them, a certain percentage of them, will become paid subscribers. It's actually, for me, it's like 16%. So if I get more qualified customers, people that live in the area and are interested in the content, like it means more people are going to buy. So on top of that, a total of 1.3 million new accounts. Now, the important thing about that number is that it's not always new people. People start secondary or third accounts. Some people have a number of them, but generally speaking, that means you've added more people. It may not be 1.3 million people, but it's definitely going to be new people. ASA Gold become the fourth Algorand project added to DeFi Llama under real world assets, which grew by 16%. Okay. ASA Gold. So you can buy gold on Algorand. That's why I've been looking for that. Then there's stuff like Meld Gold, all that. I haven't even looked into that. And yeah, here's the Coinbase Quest, 101,000. I heard 141. That's weird. 3.2 million on-chain transactions, 99,000 new opt-ins to USDC on Algorand. That's big. That's very big. And yeah, that's actually still going on at the end of the. Oh, I see. It was still going on at the end of the quarter. So the 141 was like the total. This is just to the end of the quarter because it's only measuring that quarter. Ecosystem success. Sorry about that. This quarter, the ecosystem success team concentrated on preparing the ecosystem for the upcoming launch of staking rewards. The team also provided mini funding support to 2 projects in Q3 2024. Cosmic Champs funding supported the mainnet launch and Google Play Store integration. Exim Market funding backed the rewards program with CoinList, which launched in September. Startup programs. Oh yeah, the incubator. So I actually talked about this. I did a whole video on. I didn't do a video on it, I don't think. Oh, did I talk about that yesterday? Well, I did a Twitter post on the ones that I thought were. Did they list them all? No, they didn't. There's like 14 startups. I had like 3 or 4 that I thought were really interesting. Maybe we'll look at that in a minute. But yeah, some really cool stuff coming through their startup program. So we'll keep an eye out for that. We'll see some new. One of the ones I really liked was like an NFT subscription service. Like that'd be great instead of like going through YouTube's channel membership. If I could have channel memberships through like something that's built on a membership platform that's built on Algorand, that'd be awesome. And something that's more like additive versus like, you guys might remember NifGen. If some of you were around a couple of years ago around Decipher time, there was a company that started up on Algorand called NifGen, and they were trying to like basically create their own video monetization platform so people could buy memberships and they could get rewards and NFTs and things like that. It was a good idea. I just don't think it was implemented very well. Mainly, they didn't really have a good plan to get their first customers. But I think this other one sounds better. Let's see. ParaWallet and ParaExplorer saw substantial growth, adding over 125,000 new downloads and 175,000 new wallet creations. Plus a bunch of updates, ParaDiscover version 2, which new stats, all that stuff in the front of your screen. Open source Android repository on GitHub, streamlined wallet tool for events, and project verification tool for Discover feature applications. You know what I really want them to work on is the history page is such, like, it just feels like you scroll and then it takes you right to the top for some reason. Like, it's really hard to scroll through. Yeah, 6-day event in Nigeria. That's cool. 400 participates and a startup pitch track with 70 plus teams in India. Yeah, that's cool. Look at all the people with Algorand hats. Partnerships. So they talked about the Coinbase learning program, which we just talked about. Integrations with Nansen AI and Galaxy. Get it, Galaxy. It's decentralized super app built on Gravity Chain. Partnerships are always good. Yes, they don't move the market. I know. Quarter 3 2024, the BD team helped the following projects move onto the Algorand blockchain. ArchX, which is a tokenized Euro money market fund. Finbutech, it shows Algorand for their Marco track and trace solution. I don't know what that is. Does this help? Basically supply chain management. Okay. Track and trace for supply chains. That makes sense. And Z Settlement, I actually reached out to them and they were talking about, it sounded like they were interested in being on the show. Oh, I didn't follow them. I follow them now. It sounded like they were interested in being on the show, and then I just heard nothing, and like it just kind of died. So anyway, God, how many more of these are there? Okay, we're almost done. So CARE's survival wallet completed its technical development featuring decentralized identity. Beta testing in Florida entered its final phase. That's good to hear. And technical updates, we saw improvements to ALGO kit and Python unit testing updates. Several new capabilities were released in LoRa, the Explorer's Toolkit. An engineering team launched FNet, a public Algorand DevNet for testing and staking rewards. Yeah, I've been talking to one of the algo devs online, and we might have her come on and show us how to do some stuff on Algorand. I think that'd be a lot of fun. Maybe it'd be really boring. I don't know. Anyway, you can see the full transparency report if you go to Algorand Foundation. They have a link to it. I'll probably dive into it at some point because there's usually stuff that maybe isn't as good that they don't highlight, but I think that's pretty interesting. So Ice Trail says he retweeted on X. I appreciate that, my friend. I appreciate that. We had a big viewership. Got like 50 people watching on, probably so 60 some watching all together. I appreciate that. Everyday Algo says it's like Mel Gold. I assume he's talking to ASA Gold, but for each gold item in the gold reserves, we have the NFT, and people can buy it in on-chain eShops. Well, so I guess that's yours. Okay, Everyday Algonaut's involved in that one. I'm going to give my voice a break. I'm going to find a video to watch. Let's watch Algorand. Hold on. Should we watch this one? Algorand will take off 2,000%. My algo price prediction. These are fun. By the way, yeah, for some reason I found that I can't do Twitter videos, which is kind of annoying. All right, let's see what they got. Ooh. Since it started about 12 seconds in, I must have watched this or started to watch it or something. Should we skip we don't need do we need What does he show here? Hold on, I just want to see what. So this is a pretty new video because they're talking about when was this made? This is 8 days ago. Crypto never sleeps. So they got folks. Yeah, this is our Exa folks, NFD, Tiny Man, and Parrot were involved. So let's see what he says by price overview. God, that was 8 days ago. It was 8 days ago. It was at 13 cents. Now we're at below 12. Yeah, it's frustrating. What are you going to do? Yeah, that's a very good thing, by the way. It's one of the few. Algorand has one of is one of the Algorand's US Euro or EURD is one of the few MiCA compliant ones on the chain. So it's really important. All right, no sound. All right, hold on. Ah, dang it. Yeah, I don't. Why won't these things play sound? It's so frustrating. It was before. In fact, I was recording all my. If I ever did reactions, I recorded it through the Streamlabs. Hmm. Oh, that's frustrating. That's really frustrating. Sorry, guys. Well, that makes me wonder. So it's not just from Twitter, then it's all of the things. Um, I don't know what to. I don't know how to fix that. Internal speakers. Yeah, because I don't want it to come out of the mic. Hmm. Okay, I guess we're not. I guess we're not reacting to a video today, but at least it gave me a little. Well, let's skip around then. Let's skip around and see if I could find. Let's watch the price prediction. I'll just. I'll watch it without sound too, and then that way I can talk over it. Hold on a second. Let's see what he says for price. Like I said, it's not. It doesn't have sound. A high of 60 cents in 2025. And the other one says 32 cents. Wow, those are really low. Okay. Those are really low price predictions. Do you remember when Anthony Scaramucci went on Altcoin Daily and called a 30-cent high for Algorand? I thought that was crazy. I thought that was nuts that he called a 30-cent high. Like I've been kind of targeting like $2 to $3. If it doesn't get over $1, I don't know what happens with Algorand. Just because like people aren't going to be patient with that. Like I would probably keep using it, but well, maybe I'd have to think about it. Okay, so he's saying 2 to 250. He's also saying the end of 2025. I don't know why you would say the end of 2025. Or are you saying it would hit that by the end of 2025? Because obviously the cycles, the highs are going to fall somewhere in that 2025 range. In fact, let's take a hold on a second. Just give me a second. So this is what I've been saying. You didn't really see the big run up until February. So big spike. Yeah, that's February 12th. February 12th, it hit $1.70, right? And then it hit $2. Some people said it was almost $3. I don't maybe really briefly, but not in any way that actually matters, unless you happen to have a sell order in, so it triggered it automatically or something. But yeah, otherwise, and then this really happened. This was around August when we really started to see this huge pump up. Kind of depends on where you could say it started almost December. It started slowly running up, but this big jump really happened toward the end of January, early February. But the idea that, and then, I guess it did. I guess it did kind of carry over through the end of the year. I mean, it kind of started going down in December, so another big spike up. Yeah. I mean, I guess so. I would just say 2 to 250. So he's saying 2 to 250. I think that's pretty reasonable. I've been saying $2 to $3. So, and like I said, I have the sound off for me too. I'm just going to talk over this. You're going to buy. Let me say prices. Yeah, I don't know what the rest of that is. I don't know. What do you guys think? So I took the sound off of that. We were just talking about, what do you, like I said, I've been saying $2 to $3 is probably a reasonable range for Algorand, which is kind of where it fit last time. I'm a little concerned that we hit all-time lows in the last bear. Usually what you want to see is higher lows. You don't want to see, it's usually not a good sign to have lower lows. Okay, let's I do other stuff. Oops, shoot. Yeah, I really hate the way bookmarks work on Twitter, by the way. I liked it when you clicked on it, you could just go to that post, not this little thing where it loads up in the side, but then takes you to the very top. Oh yeah, we got some HBAR stuff. Oh, by the way, this is interesting. Start moving some stuff off here. This is interesting. I don't know about this yet. I didn't listen to the space, but it said, so is Crypto for Change. I was on their show recently. He said, so is Voy helping to grow the AVM like they said it would, asking for a friend? And Geek.algo said they're moving to EVM eventually. Mr. Alley said so in this latest space with Mario Nafal. Well, how eventually? And is it additive or is it? He said he tried to clip it. It was recorded over the weekend. I don't know if you have time to watch though. Well, I can't. If I play it, you won't hear it anyway. Yeah, I gotta find a way to fix that. It's irritating. Okay. So I don't know if anyone has any insight to this. Anyone from Voy wants to weigh in, let me know. I'd be curious to hear that. Everyday Algonaut says, I think the fact that ALGO is going to be fully distributed in 2030 will be driving price up in the next few years. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I'm just not that confident. Theoretically, that makes sense. But in actuality, you see coins that have no apparent limit, or the limit is constantly changing, like Solana, and it still pumps. And then other coins that are very limited that don't. So I just don't. Maybe, but I just don't count on any of that kind of stuff, because it all sounds like it all sounds logical. It all sounds like it makes sense. And then what you actually see is like that doesn't happen. Yeah, I don't know if Ice Age is still watching, but you might know something about this AVM versus EVM thing. Feel free to weigh in. Everyday Algorand says we launched with ALGO, Voy, Arbitrum Base Bridge. They are Aramid Bridge. It's live in Aramid Bridge. It's live in mainnet. That's cool. Travel Tim says, does Algorand release schedules when more tokens will be added to circulation? We'll look at that in a second. Ice Age Trail says multi-chain. Okay, so they're adding to EVM. They're gonna add EVM as well as AVM, not like switching. Okay, probably makes sense. I think multi-chain is great. I don't have any problem when a project starts on Algorand and goes multi-chain. I'm cool with that. And with Voy is kind of its own thing, so that's a whole nother discussion anyway. But I was really critical of Opal because Opal took Algorand Foundation funding to build their business, and then they went to I think Avalanche, and basically abandoned everyone on Algorand. I think what you have works, but they're not building anything new on Algorand. I think that's BS. I think that's total bull. Because you took money from the Algorand Foundation to build on Algorand. Now, if you added stuff, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. But if you switch chains, you abandon your chain, I think that's kind of bull. Oh yeah, so I want to talk about this one. There's actually a lot we could talk about. So I've had plenty of I've seen plenty of pushback to Hedera lately. People have been really, really upset with Hedera. Going all the way back to the BlackRock news, that seemed to be the tipping point, and people have been really unhappy with Hedera. I never really got a good sense of why, other than I think people just get mad when the price doesn't go up. But they've had some good news lately, and one of them is that HBAR has joined the Chainlink scale. The Chainlink data feed's now live on Hedera testnet. Additionally, Chainlink CCIP is being integrated on Hedera. So we talked about this with Algorand. There was someone who was going around apparently claiming to represent Chainlink, even though he had nothing to do with Chainlink, and saying that Algorand needed to pay X amount of dollars to be on Chainlink, which, as far as I can tell, isn't a thing. Like, there's a Chainlink takes a fee from using its data feeds or using its CCIP, but it doesn't. That's what we found when we looked into it. There's nothing about like a fee to join, so I don't know what that guy was talking about. He says, we're excited that the HBAR Foundation, which supports the sustainable growth and long-term adoption of the Hedera ecosystem, has joined the Chainlink Scale program. As a first step in this collaboration, Chainlink data feeds are now live on Hedera testnet. Additionally, Chainlink data feeds and Chainlink CCIP are being actively integrated on Hedera, giving developers the industry standard services needed to build feature-rich dApps. I've been spelling DApp wrong, by the way. I keep making capital D. I guess it's small d, capital A is where you're supposed to do it. Oh well. This is not the first time we have collaborated. The Hedera Chainlink ecosystem have maintained a strong relationship since 2021 when Chainlink Labs joined the Hedera Governing Council. Chainlink Labs contributes to Hedera's decentralized governance not only by operating a node, but also by playing a role in the development, oversight, and operation of the Hedera network. Joining the Chainlink Scale program provides Hedera developers with enhanced access to deliver high-quality data, secure node operators, decentralized network, and reputation system. I'll admit there's a lot of this stuff that I don't really fully understand. I have a rough idea of it. But like, I don't really know what Gora is doing, where that overlaps with what Chainlink is doing here, or what's different. Because when I see stuff like data feeds, that seems like what Gora is doing, but I don't think Gora does the CCIP type stuff. So But I thought this was interesting because a lot of people have been asking if Algorand is going to integrate Chainlink CCIP. I believe that's what Folks Finance is using, right? And then they're kind of going cross-chain, which I think is a good thing. I don't know if anyone knows about that in here. Yeah, but good for Hedera. I think there's been some good Hedera news, so I like to see that. We got some really good viewership between the two platforms with Kick and YouTube. I'm kind of curious about. Oops. I always have at least one person watching on. At least one person watching on Kick as well, so that's cool. And I have a follower. I do have a follower, so happy to have more followers there. So go check me out there. And I'm starting to lose my voice. I was really counting on having that video to give my voice a break. Let's see what else we got. I do have more. I have a whole like bookmark full of things. Oh yeah, we can talk about this. This is good too. Then I'll probably wrap it up after this. This is also from Hedera. We are excited to announce that the Nairobi Securities Exchange, NSE PLC, Kenya's principal securities exchange, has joined the Hedera Governing Council as part of its commitment to digitalize real-world assets, RWAs, and expedite tokenization of securities in Kenya's capital market. So this is the approach that Hedera has been taking. They have a lot of big businesses, and we're talking like Google, IBM, LG, Boeing is on there. Maybe that's not the best one to point to these days. Geez, all kinds of crazy stuff going on at Boeing. In fact, they just got a new CEO that's like kind of sounds like is going to completely clean house at Boeing. But yeah, a lot of big name businesses that got involved with Hedera, and that's what kind of made me sit up and pay attention to Hedera, because I was like, well, they see something here, right? If they see something useful, that makes me think this has a good chance of adoption. Some people criticize that. They say it's too centralized, and they're probably right to a degree. I mean, that is a legitimate complaint. Let's see. So NSC PLC plays a vital role in the growth of Kenya's economy and plans to accelerate the launch of digital assets and tokenized securities on its exchange, leveraging Hedera's secure, transparent, and scalable technology. We look forward to deep connections and expertise that NSC PLC will bring to Hedera's council by giving widespread adoption of tokenization. Yeah, it looks like the reaction is pretty positive. So that's good. Oh, yeah, good stuff. Yeah, well, I'm really bummed I couldn't share that video with you guys, but let's see. Oh, I thought we hadn't. Sometimes it says I have a new chat, but I don't. All right, guys. Well, I think we're going to wrap things up. So appreciate everybody watching. Thanks so much. Whether you're on YouTube or on Kick or on Twitter, I appreciate, or X, whatever you want to call it now. I gotta say, I like the reach on X. Like my stuff has gotten gets pretty good views on X, and it keeps growing. So I'm always tempted to stay on just a little bit longer. If you are watching on X and you're not following me, I'd love you to give me a follow and watch along. Be sure to hit the like button, and you can retweet the video as well, so more people see it, as well as like and subscribe on Facebook. And if you're a Kick person, even if you primarily watch me on YouTube or Twitter, I'd love you to give me a follow on Kick. I think that would help out a lot. And we've got a bunch of stuff in first off, for channel members, I mean, you get videos before anyone else, so you get them early. They're released to you. They don't have to do anything special. If you put on notifications, you can find them really fast, but you'll get notified when they come out. But otherwise, yeah, you get them a couple hours early before anyone else. And yeah, I think that's about it. So, we got some people in the chat. Ice Age says later, BC. Great stream. Thank you. Thank you. Everyday Argonaut says have a nice day. Thanks for joining us. I appreciate that. Yes, this time seems to work well for people. Seems like people can actually tune in at this time, so that's fun. It's good for me. I eat my lunch a little early and then get on the computer. So fun times. We'll try to do this once a week at least. I do hope to have some guests on, so it's not going to be always me. Those are a little easier to handle. Even if it's someone just to kind of come along and react to some of the news with me, I think that'd be fun too. So we'll do some of that. But yeah, otherwise, take it easy out there, guys, and stay safe. And I'll see you.